live in interesting times. This week's stories. In Guam, the in-center stage play Back Into Your Arms delights the audience. In California, the Church of Christ holds an emergency preparedness and an active shooting awareness training. For EBC Sports, still in California, the Halo Outpost discovery engages generations of fans. In New York, the Nets power duo puts Brooklyn on the map of the new NBA landscape. Plus, in Hawaii, the iconic Blaisdell Center is scheduled to undergo a multi-million-dollar makeover. And in Australia, we will take you to Mount Isa, the ochre-red beauty of northwest Queensland. This is Eagle News Weekend Edition, broadcasting from Washington, D.C., bringing you stories from around the globe. I am Eliza Gonzalez, Manglik Mont. The play Back Into Your Arms, an in-center stage production by the Church of Christ members in Guam, delighted the audience and touched the hearts of families. Eagle News correspondent Irish Dale Radam with the details.
Produced by members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ in Micronesia through In-Center Stage, the theatrical play Back Into Your Arms was presented before a live audience at the iconic Guam Museum.
You have a bunch of people watching you, and usually we'd have like EVMs or like AT Humanity stuff, something we would do to, give to the community, but I guess we're just kind of like entertaining, which is good. It's still good because then we still have a little bit of a life lesson in it.
I try to practice stage presence, and I try to think about what I can do as a person with no lines to try to express myself without saying anything, but through physical motions.
Basically, I had to memorize all the scenes to make sure all the props go in the right places so the actors can use it to the full advantage.
When I was told that my daughter and my son is included in the cast, I was so nervous, me as the father, because I don't know if they could be able to cope up with the practice.
I know that the kids have worked really, really hard to really give us something to be inspired by, to be uplifted by, to be edified. So today I just expect to really be moved by the great and amazing talents of these young kids who have really labored so hard to give us something to really be inspired by.
The story follows a young boy named Charlie in his efforts to help his mom, Nita, who is also a single mother. Beset with financial strains, Nita is determined to be strong for her son and to raise him to be God-fearing. Yet, like most parents, she does her best not to let Charlie see her in distress. Her precocious son's tenacity soon gets the best of him and is tested in his steadfastness to always do what is right. In a twist of events, the naive Charlie finds himself exposed to a band of children different from him. Portrayed through memorable characters, a clear distinction is made between Charlie and the other children. Separated from his mother, he experiences loneliness and sadness, but still, he holds on to his beliefs and values.
He tries selling his toys to little kids who are homeless, which he does not know, so he ends up having to follow them and then gets himself in a really tight situation to the point where he just doesn't want to be there. He is not having it right now. He just wants to go home.
Despite being young of age, having little or no experience in public speaking or stage acting, most of the cast members felt surprised about how they performed that night.
This play was a very fun thing to do. I had great. Everyone had great. I hope we do this again sometime.
I don't have much of a role, honestly, but I have one line. But I know the power of that one line, so...
What is this one line?
My one line is be strong, Nita. We're here for you. Don't lose hope because God will never leave you.
My role in the play was as Charlie, who was kidnapped and tricked and is also the main character. I feel excited and I want to do it again. I feel really shocked because it's my first time experiencing this. I've only performed in musical performances.
I think it benefits me because I get to really see how everybody works together, and I get to learn how everybody has this story to share. And when we work together and we start talking to each other, it helps us to learn more about each other, and we have this stronger bond and a stronger faith with God.
Meanwhile, parents express their joy to watch their children perform on a live stage.
So that makes me very proud and happy, Dad, knowing that my children will be part of the activities for the celebration of the victorious and dynamic leadership of Brother Eduardo V. Manalo.
On behalf of all the brethren in the ecclesiastical district of my commission, we would like to greet our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, on occasion of his 10th anniversary of his dynamic leadership as the executive minister in the Church of Christ.
Happy anniversary, Paul! We love you, Paul!
This cultural event by the Church of Christ in the Western Pacific also served as a gesture of thanking and congratulating Brother Eduardo V. Manalo in his 10th year as executive minister. Reporting from the island of Guam, I'm Irish Del Redam for Eagle News, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Irish Dale. Community members in San Jose and in Daly City, California, gathered for an emergency preparedness and active shooting awareness training sponsored by the Church of Christ. Eagle News correspondent Diana Rusgal reports.
As of 2018, the United States was ranked the #1 gun-owning country. According to the Gun Violence Archive for the United States in 2019, there has already been 309 verified gun shootings, with 10,860 deaths as of September 22. The Church of Christ in Northern California held a 2-day seminar called Emergency Preparedness, with an emphasis on active shooting awareness. Day 1 was held in Daly City, California, and Day 2 was held in San Jose, California.
A seminar that I just performed or gave was actually an active shooter preparedness awareness seminar. To be able to create awareness and help our congregation would be able to not only prevent these things, but to also allow us to retain our First Amendment rights, which is the right to worship. To be able to also not only create awareness, the confidence and courage they need to be able to defend their faith.
I learned about how to be aware with everything going on nowadays. You know, a lot of the churches are getting attacked. So I was really interested in attending, and I just want to know what to do.
This activity we have, the seminar today, is of help not only for the officers but also to the brethren and also those who are not members, that when our activities will come, we could help them and we could maintain peace and order. And also it will result for the glory of God, because we know that as members of the Church of Christ, especially we the ministers and through the church administration, we want that all our activities in the Church of Christ is for the good of everyone.
Reporting from San Jose, California, I am Diana Ruscal, always 1 with 25.
Thanks, Diana. Coming up for EBC Sports, still in California, the Halo Outpost discovery engages generations of fans. And in New York, the Nets power duo puts Brooklyn on the map of the new NBA landscape. Eagle News Weekend Edition will return shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Weekend Edition, coming to you from Washington, D.C. And now for ABC Sports. The Halo Outpost Discovery event in Anaheim, California engaged generations of fans by going, quote, beyond the game. Eagle News correspondents Eva and Alan Basalahe with the details.
Back in 2001, Halo Combat Evolved launched with Microsoft's first home gaming console, the Xbox. Since then, a good number of iterations have followed, and for the first time, fans, both new and original, got the chance to visit the Halo world in person.
In Philadelphia, Chicago, Houston, and now here in Anaheim, California, the Halo Outpost Discovery allows players to walk among iconic characters, engage in pivotal turn-the-tide-of-war battles, and learn about the history of this much-celebrated franchise. Alan, I see that you're holding an actual 2001 Halo video game. Where'd you get it?
Oh, remember when I said that there's fans both new and original here? I'm an original!
I've always loved Halo since I was young, and my friend's a huge fan as well. He's like, we should go do this. So we came down here. I've loved it every minute being here. It's been a blast. It's awesome to see all the cool things they have here, all the cosplayers and the awesome costumes. Halo made such an impact on the world we have now, especially the Xbox. That probably wouldn't be as big or even non-existent as of today.
What you can expect, it definitely was a good time, an experience that you probably wouldn't necessarily be able to understand unless you're here. There's definitely some good things to see. It's something that I know that I'm glad that I came to, and I traveled at least 4 hours by car to get here. You know what I mean? Wanted to make sure I was here. So I would say if another opportunity like this presents itself, make sure you're there.
I was playing Halo Reach and I saw my Spartan. I was like, I really haven't made a Spartan in a long time. I made ODSTs, but nothing like this. So I was like, ooh, I gotta get started. So I went online, found the templates, and I got to work, and it took me 10 weeks and painstaking work. Technically, I kind of finished this just last night. Halo was my first game I played back in 2001. I was 5 years old playing with my brother. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to be Master Chief. And well, now I got my own Spartan suit.
Halo Outpost Discovery had an assortment of attractions to enjoy, like the target range, where players of all ages use Nerf guns to mow down the enemy Covenant, with some marksmen scoring hits more often than others.
For a high-stakes, high-pressure experience, Pelican training was definitely a crowd favorite. In this simulation, the renowned UNSC airship, or Pelican, gets involved in a mid-air collision. Faced with the threat of a brutal crash landing, crew members must work cohesively to safely bring one of Halo's iconic vessels back down to Earth.
Well done, recruits. This may have been only a simulation, but you have demonstrated.
And for a team-based infantry encounter, there was the combat deck. In this 16-on-16 laser tag competition, red and blue teams clash head-to-head in an all-out military campaign to see which squad will claim bragging rights for the day.
They don't want you to run, so walk fast, I guess, from cover to cover. Take shots. You have regenerating shields like in the game, and if you die, you go back to the respawn point, reset, and go back again.
As far as how it sounds when shields go down, the actual sound of the gunfire and everything, it sounded pretty legitimate, so pretty good, pretty accurate.
Were you both on the same team?
Yeah.
Did your team win?
No. But it was fun.
For any Halo fan, meeting the franchise voice actors for Master Chief and Cortana was not an opportunity to be passed up.
To get to be a part of this lore is so fun. I mean, it's so, in that way, it's been a great challenge and a privilege to be part of it.
It's really a phenomenon this year is we're running into a lot of
families that play the game. You know, dad started it and passed it along to the son or the uncle or whatever. And you know,
mom.
Or mom. Yeah. And many more women are participating in it. And so it's fun to watch the evolution of the audience for the game over the years.
The big news around town is this little thing called Halo Infinite. What we want to know is, how does Halo Infinite end?
I'd tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Oh, jeez.
It might be worth it. What are some parting words you can say about your experience here on this amazing fan tour?
Well, Jen and I have done a lot of conventions, but this has been such a unique and singular pleasure to be able to, you know, be with a gathering of strictly Halo fans. And it has been, we've had a blast from the beginning in Orlando to this last one in Anaheim. It's just been so much fun. And Jen and I have gotten to spend a lot of time together, which we don't always get to do. And so that's been a blessing as well. And the fans have just been spectacular.
Deep narrative, strong character development, and pulse-pushing action are trademarks of the Halo video games, which consequently produces a pretty loyal fan base.
With this in mind, Halo Outpost Discovery was made to give fans, both new
and original,
the opportunity to explore the infinite expanse of the Halo universe. In Anaheim, California, this is Eva and Allen, Eagle News, 1/25.
No, that's not yours.
Thanks, Eva and Allen. Meanwhile, the Nets power duo puts Brooklyn on the map of the new NBA landscape. EBC sports correspondent Tenny Sumagi with more.
No basketball fan would have imagined Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant teaming together in New York's other NBA team, the Brooklyn Nets. But the wild and crazy offseason landed in the Nets' favor, signing the two superstars, changing the basketball landscape of New York. The Nets have long been irrelevant in the New York basketball landscape, overshadowed by their crosstown rivals, the New York Knicks. But the team in the city's largest borough, who made their first playoff appearance in 4 years last season, enhanced their lineup with the addition of Durant, Irving, and DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, it's like the first day of school. You know, you're excited. Obviously, we have a new class, some new classmates that we've added to the team, and lost some guys, obviously. So that's always an exciting challenge, trying to figure out a new team, and we've added some talent. I think it's great for the fans, great for the city, great challenge for us as an organization to keep moving up.
Durant and Irving look ahead for a fresh start in their own pursuit of happiness in Brooklyn.
Every day is a challenge to stay at this level that I'm at. So I never looked at me switching teams as a new challenge. Every day I wake up, I got to fight against that standard I set for myself. But I felt like it was a time for a change, and I wanted to play for a new team, and simply put, I just did it. I didn't really think about what I was leaving behind or like what we accomplished. I put that up on the shelf already. And when it was time to make a decision on my future, I just thought solely about me.
For me, it's just about the history, and then also the transition that it's made. Now being in Brooklyn, also being from Jersey, it was like, okay, let me bring this New York, New Jersey style to the court. I don't think we've seen a player from around here be on the team as, you know, just this example now of in the community as well as on the floor. I grew up playing in some of these parks. I popped up at a Brooklyn park the other day, not realizing that I'm still not normal. So when I go outside and I see all these kids leaving a bunch of courts, I'm like, I just came here to shoot with my dad. Because that's where I grew up. I was outside playing basketball, having that attitude to really prove people right, that I'm the next one and meant to take over this league for the next few years.
Reporting to you from the Nets Training Center in Brooklyn, I'm Tenny Samagi for Eagle News, 1/25.
When we come back, in Hawaii, the iconic Blaisdell Center is scheduled to undergo a multi-million-dollar makeover. And in Australia, we will take you to Mount Isa, the ochre red beauty of Northwest Queensland. Eagle News Weekend Edition will be back shortly. Welcome back. This is Eagle News Weekend Edition coming to you from Washington, D.C. I'm Eliza Gonzalez Manglik Mott. Since 1964, the Neil S. Blaisdell Center in Honolulu has brought memorable moments for audiences, not just in Hawaii, but around the world. And now, the Blaisdell is set to undergo major reconstruction, which comes with a heavy price tag and some scrutiny by public officials. Our Hawaii correspondent Joji Carnate has the details.
I think our community leaders saw it as the way we see it now, as sort of the center for the culture and arts in our community.
Located east of downtown Honolulu, between South King Street and Kapilani Boulevard, is Hawaii's largest and most popular community complex, the Neil S. Blaisdell Center. This includes the concert hall, exhibition center, and arena. The city's Director of Enterprise Services took some time to share with Eagle News about the rich history of this place.
So the campus that we're sitting on right now, the Neil S. Blaisdell Center, opened in 1964 as the Honolulu International Center, 22 acres. To me, it's a great story. It replaced the Honolulu Civic Auditorium, which was a couple blocks down the road on King Street from where we are. Very modest facility, probably sat on about an acre to an acre and a half of land, one structure that everything fit into. Wrestling, concerts, roller derby, graduations. Our civic and community leaders at the time had a much grander vision. They took us from this postage stamp of land and one facility to a multi-facility venue on 22 acres of land. I believe this site was selected because from looking at the newspaper stories at the time, it was lamented as the last open space in Honolulu. In 1964, they were talking about how we were taking the last open space in Honolulu and creating this gathering place.
For more than 5 decades, the Blaisdell became the gathering place for events like concerts and other events for many famous people. One of those celebrities was Elvis Presley, who is still remembered to this day for his live performance that was also shown worldwide by satellite in January 1973. Eagle News got to visit the very dressing room where the king of rock and roll prepared for the historic concert. Meanwhile, one organization that utilized Blaisdell's facilities through the years is the Iglesia Ni Cristo or Church of Christ, as seen here during their most recent event. The grand celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Church of Christ in the 58th state has just concluded here in Blaisdell Arena. Guy also described the city's goal to finally give the Blaisdell a new and refreshing look. The price tag for this master plan is currently almost $800 million.
Our goals for the designers was one, water has always been a significant part of this campus and needed to be in the future. Two, the Blaisdell, when it was first conceived and opened, was dedicated as a memorial to Hawaii's veterans. And we wanted to rededicate it in that fashion. So there needed to be a significant component to the design that honored that nature of the Blaisdell. And so we have this War Memorial Plaza that is one of the major entries into the future campus. Basically, everything on the campus is rebuilt other than the concert hall. That will stay and be significantly renovated in the interior. A little bit of the exterior will be touched. The rest of the campus comes down and gets rebuilt, but the arena is going to look like it was rehabilitated as opposed to rebuilt, because we're rebuilding it to look the same.
Guy and other city leaders have acknowledged the concerns of clients who frequently use Blaisdell's facilities and have repeatedly engaged with them with hopes of maintaining their trust and loyalty during and after the construction period.
We have several annual tenants, and some who have seasons here. The ballet has a season, the symphony has a season, Hawaii Opera Theater has a season. And we've been talking to those groups and many more, especially the ones that also have exhibitions, about alternatives. The unfortunate thing is the city doesn't have an alternative. We don't have another facility that these folks could go into and hold their events while we're under construction. But we've been having the dialogue with them, and we feel like we've had it early enough that they can start to look for alternatives on their own. And we were concerned that all of our efforts to try to keep a particular facility open may not end up being beneficial if people, for one reason or another, decide they don't want to come down to a construction site to see an event. So the easiest thing was to say, we'll close the facility all at once. If we have an opportunity to roll venues back online one at a time, then we would do that. So presently we haven't been taking bookings for anything past December of 2020, which is our scheduled closure.
Less than a week after this interview, the Honolulu City Council called upon the Blaisdell manager to inquire on how much the taxpayers will shoulder the $772 million price tag. Although the city has emphasized public-private partnerships for financing, it yet to provide more specific information. One thing is certain, however, the new facilities will need to generate huge profits. At present, the cost of maintenance is around $15 million a year. Blaisdell is generating only $6 million in annual revenue. Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, this is Joji Carnate, Eagle News. I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Joji. Today we will take you to Australia, where we get to see Mount Isa, the ochre red beauty of northwest Queensland. Eagle News correspondent Alyssa Ventura with the details.
With golden soil and wealth for toil, a line borrowed from the Australian anthem that perfectly describes this rural town of Mount Isa. Located in northwest Queensland, this outback town is about 2,000 kilometers away, or an equivalent of a full-day drive from the nearest capital city, Brisbane. This town's population is about 20,000. Mount Isa continues to flourish and thrive as a town situated in the middle of the Australian outback. Mount Isa became a town on the year 1923. Long before the township was formed, the land where Mount Isa stands was home to the Kalkadoon Aboriginal tribe. Then in 1923, it was said that John Campbell Miles, a land prospector, found rich silver and lead deposits around the land. This has led to the formation of Mount Isa mines. The town was developed and established alongside the local mining organization. Until this day, Mount Isa is well known as a mining town. The Mount Isa mines remains as one of Australia's and the world's biggest production for copper, lead, silver, and zinc. After 9 decades since the town's establishment, Mount Isa continued to grow. A number of businesses has been established throughout the years due to the increasing population demands. A variety of annual events are held which draws in hundreds and thousands of tourists to visit Mount Isa. The most popular event held in town is the Mount Isa Rodeo, the biggest rodeo in the Southern Hemisphere and the third largest rodeo event in the world. It has been said by the town locals that you have never experienced the real Australia unless you have visited Mount Isa. Experience and explore this great jewel of a town hidden in the red-soiled outback here in Queensland, Australia. This is Alyssa Ventura from EBC Australia, and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Alyssa. And that is this week's Eagle News Weekend Edition. Join us again next week for stories from our bureaus across the nation and around the globe. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I am Eliza Gonzalez Manglikmot. Always 1 with 25.